Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. Today's exciting episode, I take these fabulous poppy fabrics and I turn them into this lovely poppy dress. I actually add another fabric as well, but it's pretty darn fabulous. I'm not sure it's very summery because there's a few dark fabrics in there, but it's gorgeous.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
I had intended to finally finish the red and brick red tweed jacket, but then I was like, or I could do a layer cake dress. So it's another layer cake dress. But I didn't have time to do one of the epic ones, like the green one, which the bottom tier of the green one is 16 yards round, whereas this blue and yellow one is only 8 yards only. I say only. It's still pretty epic. But yeah, so I just time-wise, I didn't have enough to do one of the massively epic ones. So these were the fabrics that I had set aside, and I have 4 yards of this, 4 or 5 yards, 4 yards. And then I have 1 yard of the seahorse, and then I have another 3 yards, I think, of the pink one. And then there's some orange fat quarters somewhere, but I've put them away safely somewhere and I can't remember where. So I was like, oh, should I just make it with these or should I just wait? And I'm still not sure about the seahorse one. So anyway, I got distracted getting out other stacks. So we've got the aqua one, we've got the apricot one, and then we've got, that sort of greens, and then bluey blues, and then purpley mauves, and there's a red one and a pink one. And I'm not sure about the sushi. It kind of looks good with the ladybugs, which is in the pink one. So I'm not sure where that one's going. Anyway, so I got, and obviously there's loads of fabric still that I haven't put into little piles, but obviously I had a lot of options and I was getting very, very distracted. So I was like going back to this one. I was like, okay, let's try these ones. And then I added the extra half yard of that rose fabric in because it's very pink, but also because of the white lines in the orange one, the camera didn't like the white and it was sort of going off white. But if you add in the half yard of rose one, then the camera likes it more. So I was thinking maybe I could do these ones. I still haven't found the other fat quarters. A fat quarter is just literally a quarter of a yard, but instead of being a strip, it's fat instead of long or thin. So and you just use it as the top layer of the skirt, which reminded me, I do have these red fat quarters and I do have these poppy fabrics that I filmed them for a short, and I was like, actually, I might make that into a dress. So what we have is the top 3 ones. I've got a yard of the poppies on the white background. I've got a yard of the woodcut, the folk art floral woodcut one with the teal backgrounds, and I've got 1 yard of the wall-to-wall red poppies. I've got 2 yards of the Liberty poppy one, which sort of looks like a Californian poppy except it's red flowers. And then I've got 2 fat quarters, which is equal to half a yard of fabric it's sort of red, but it's got shadowy flowers on there. So I thought I could make a dress out of all of these and it could be the poppy dress. So and I really love the red and pink in the teal colored one. I don't know, it just goes really well with everything else. And then, it's not quite enough fabric. So I was like, well, maybe at the bottom I could add a blue because the teal is at the top and, bookend it with a teal at the top and a sort of bluish vintage at the bottom because it'll have the folk art at the top. So I laid out all the fabrics. And so the bodice is going to be in the teal, and then there's going to be a thin stripe of the fat quarter, then poppies, then the remain of the woodcut one, and then the remains of the white base poppy, and then a thin line of the red, and then the Liberty poppy print, and then the red poppy print. And I did try the vintage daisy one, but it didn't look, I don't know. I think the red wall-to-wall red poppies is just so red, and then the vintage daisy one is a little too delicate. I think it would look better if there was like a full-on aqua teal one maybe, or something darker. So that made me think of this one. Like, I used half of this fabric a few months ago to make the, well, this is reversible, so one fabric is this side, and spoiler alert, this is what the finished dress looks like, and this is the reverse side of that jacket. And yeah, so I think I bought 2 yards of it, and I used 1 yard to make this, and you can see up the sleeve, you can see the other side of the jacket. So I used half of it to make this jacket, and so there's about 1 yard left. I've already torn it up into strips because I was going to use it on one of the layers of the red skirt, and I was like, oh, actually, I think I'll put it near the bottom of this one, because it's a cotton lawn. It's thinner than all these ones you see here are quilting cottons, so I can add that extra fabric, but it's better to add it at the top of each layer, and that way you can pleat it down, and it's thinner fabric, so it works better. And now that I worked out which fabric is going where in the skirt, first thing to do is use half my teal fabric to cut out the bodice, and then it's a little less than half. So if you do the bodice first, then you get to use a tiny little bit more fabric in your skirt. So I'm doing the bodice first out of this gorgeous woodcut fabric. I wish I'd put another yard of this to make a dress. I mean, a jacket. It would be so amazing. Anyway, so I went and made that using the burrito method. I'll put a card up the top and a link in the description box below if you want to see the how to use the burrito method to make your bodice video. And now then I cut all the rest of the fabrics into strips. And so we've got thin red strips and the poppies. That is my first tier of the skirt. And then in my second tier, I've got the remains of the teal fabric, the remains of the poppy on white background, and a thin layer of the red quilting fat quarter. And I'm also going to add that vintage one to there as well. And then in the biggest 8 yard layer of the skirt, I've got 3 fabrics. And then I think it was at this point I was like, that's still an awful lot of machine sewing to do to get all of this done by the end of the day. So yeah, I decided to start with something easier than the biggest tier. So what I was going to do is sew all of them together, and then so tier 1 is going to be all sewn together, tier 2 is going to be all sewn together, and then tier 3 is going to be all sewn together. So here we are, a long time later, and as I said, I've sewn them together. So first you sew all the different fabrics together. So if there's 2, if there's 3, if there's 4 fabrics, you sew them together, and then you sew each, like the 2 yard one obviously had 2 meter long bits, the 4 yard one had 4 meter long bits, and then this one here had 8 sections, and then yeah, I sewed them all together. But you can do it anyway, as long as you end up with one big loop for each of the tiers, and that is what I did. So, oh, and these are my scraps. It's basically a zero waste. This is what I love about making a layer cake dress or a pleated down dress. It's basically zero waste. Because I use quilting cotton, I can just tear the fabric into strips. You have to measure it really precisely, but then you could just make a nick and then tear them into strips. And for some reason I got out the strawberry dress and I decided to film a short of that, and then I just had it out, so I was going to film it as well, like this way. And in the background there's the bodice of the one I'm just about to make. And yeah, so when I finished the strawberry dress, it was night, so I don't have any beautiful daytime shots of it. So I think that's why I decided to film it. But I took so many shots, and the skirt of this one is so completely epic. But it kind of has to be because 2 of the fabrics are really, really thin. They're high quality, but they're very thin cottons, and one of them is a quilting cotton, but I had to make it really big and gather it down a lot, and that way I didn't have to put a petticoat or a second skirt under it. It's just got so many pleats that you can wear it by itself. Anyway, so let's go back to this dress here. Obviously we have the bodice, so now we need the 3 tiers of the skirt. I've made the 3 loops of the skirt. Now I have to pin them together and pleat them down so that the 3 separate loops of fabric become one big massive skirt. So I did that, and it takes forever, but I was just sitting listening to Pride and Prejudice actually. So I did that, and now we're in evening light because it took so long to do, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's very Eastern European. I love it. All these different, like the folk art, the wood cuts and everything. Oh, and this is me noticing how it goes really nicely with because of the teal layer, goes really nicely with the dark blue Italian tweed jacket. Anyway, it is time to get that bodice off the mannequin and sew these 2 together. So you just pin them together and then you pleat it down. Oh, and I decided to get the summer reversible jacket out so you could see how well the skirt is going to go with the jacket that inadvertently matches it. And here we go. So I sewed them together, and then you have to hand stitch the lining of the bodice to the top of the skirt, and that way the lining and the outer bodice each carry half the weight of the skirt, and the dress just ages better that way. So this is it, just plain. It's sitting on a chair, so it is sort of sitting out a little bit because it's sitting around the edge of the seat of the chair. And this is it from the side. It's so pretty. I've got the ladybug sash on there, and this dress is just gorgeous. I love it so much. And yeah, it's cold where I am at the moment, and this is it from the back. And so I'll wear it with over the top of a long sleeve t-shirt and yoga pants, but you won't be able to see them. And then I think I can wear the summer jacket over the top as well, and it will it will look really pretty. So yeah, I guess it is the colours are a little dark if you like your summer things light and your winter things dark. But I just wear the same things all year round. And this is just a slow pan up all the fabrics. I'm surprised how much I love this one. Like, I was hoping it would turn out nicely, but it's just glorious. The colours are really rich and vibrant, and yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. You know how you're supposed to eat something of all the different colours when you have a salad, and because they've all got different vitamins in them? I feel like with this skirt, it's got all different colours in there. And it feeds your eyes in a different way than, like, I love my monochrome dresses. Like the strawberry one is basically just pink, and then there's the yellow and blue one, the yellow and pink one, and the green one. Oh my God, I love the green one. But this one, I don't know, it's gorgeous. Like, it's just, yeah, there's warmth to it. It's really rich and textural. I love all the different colours, and I love that folk art fabric. The fabric is only available in the store where I bought it from. They only delivered to Asia, unfortunately, but there's something called spoon flower, and they print on demand. So just type in spoon flower and it will go to it on Google. And yeah, so they've got loads of folk art designs and historic floral designs, and you can probably find something there. Or also I'd try Mood Fabrics. They have some beautiful crafty sort of folk art prints sometimes too. Anyway, and then I put the jacket on it. So there we go. I made another layer cake dress, and this one is, it's really unexpected, but I absolutely love it. So I definitely play around with the fabrics in your stash and experiment with different ones. I mean, I think it must drive some of you a little batty the way I constantly switch fabrics around, but I never would have come up with this combination otherwise. And I love it. It's so like, this is sage and red. These are two different reds, and the woodcut one doesn't really seem like it would go at all. And then the two fat quarters that I used are actually a deeper red, and they don't match anything, but because all the other reds don't quite match, adding another one in sort of brings in harmony. So yeah, I love this. It's absolutely gorgeous. Well, thank you very much for watching. That's it for this video. I hope you've been inspired to make a layer cake dress of your own. I wouldn't try and make it in one day, if only because your sewing machine will just throw a fit and refuse to do it. But yes, I definitely find it easier if I just sort of cut all this, like sort everything out. You know, one day just go through all my fabrics and have fun mixing and matching and working out which ones work. And then once I've decided, you know, definitely these fabrics, then you have to do the slightly less fun part of, you know, working out, okay, I need half a yard for this part of the skirt. I need 2 yards for this part of the skirt. And then once you've done that, then cutting out the bodice and actually making the bodice. Yeah, and don't forget to add time in for getting distracted with your strawberry dress, of course. And then, yeah, sewing all the strips together into so that you've got layer 1, layer 2 and layer 3. That takes an incredible amount of time because, I mean, you're either doing French seams or you're doing double seam or you're overlocking. It's a lot of, just like mileage wise, it's a lot of sewing. And if you're not used to sewing a lot, you also have to pace your machine because it'll seize if you try to do too much at once and you'd never really used your machine before. Anyway, so then, yeah, I would definitely, after I've done the tiers, it's just painful to do all that work and then have to go straight into pleating. So I would definitely stagger them, and normally I do them on different days. And if you do it just little chunks at a time, it doesn't feel like so much work. Whereas if you do it all at once, just because you're lugging around such large bits of fabric with so many pins in them, like my shoulders, I need a massage. It was a lot of work to do in one day, but it's finished, and I'm so happy with this dress. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make a layer cake dress. Make several. They're so much fun. But yeah, I definitely caution that you pace yourself because they are awesome, but they're also a lot of work. Okay, happy sewing. Oh, and the cards with the amount of fabric per tier and how much of each fabric you need, they're in the community section, and you can just look at the post. You don't have to watch the whole video again. Just go onto my page, click on community post, and you'll see them all there, and you can just take a screenshot or leave it up on you while you work out which fabrics you need and how much of each. Good luck making your layer cake dress. They're so much fun. Exhausting, but fun.